Hi, I'm Amanda Leon and I've been working for the British Council for about 7 years now. In today's presentation, we talked about a book which is a whole methodology concerning learner autonomy. This book was written by Gail, Ellis and Nayr, Ibrahim, who work at the British Council Paris, and the book is called Teaching Children How to Learn. It was written a couple of years ago, and as I just said, it is a whole methodology. So I'm going to try and sum it up for you here, but I do encourage you to have a look at it. So what is autonomous learning? When we talk about autonomous learning, we talk about encouraging each child, because we're talking about young learners, to take responsibility for their own learning. So whatever we teach them, take it, digest it, make it their own, so that they can become better learners in life in general. In order to do this, we need to give them strategies, or we need to help them reflect on the strategies they might already have naturally, because they do use strategies already. We're talking about 4 different kinds of strategies. We have communication, which is what we do when we negotiate, for example, meaning. Someone tells me something, I don't understand it, and I will ask this person, can you explain it to me? This is pure communication. A level above this, when we get the children, for example, to work in groups or to work in pairs, is where these strategies are more socio-effective, because then we also involve dealing with different personalities, dealing with different a lot of different aspects of communication. We also have cognitive strategies, which are pretty much task-based, meaning if I have a story and I want the children, it's all mixed up, I want the children to put it back in the right order, which we call sequencing. This is a cognitive strategy, and so is categorizing words, maybe defining words, all of these. And then from the cognitive strategies, we get the children to reflect on their metacognitive strategies, which are, for example, becoming aware of what they learn, becoming aware of how they learned it, so that each child can develop their own, each child kind of gets to learn their own learning preferences, their learning styles. They might even get to discover what kind of intelligence they are. We all remember Gardner's theory from the 90s, the early 90s, about multiple intelligences. So pretty much by teaching children how to learn, we're helping them become autonomous, and we're helping them realize, for English learning, but for just learning in general in life, realize how it is that they personally, individually, take any information given to them and organize it, review it in a way that is specifically good for their learning. A good thing to do is to ask ourselves how we learned and how we learn. And when I first did this, I realized that actually I teach, and I know how to teach because I was trained. And the way I was trained is I was asked to reflect on my own teaching. I was filmed, I was videoed, I was observed, I was given feedback, and from that I would grow as a professional, and as a teacher I would develop. And then I realized, well, there is a gap between me teaching because I know how to teach and my children learning, but they don't know how to learn. So if I want to bridge that gap, I need to help them understand how they learn. So if you kind of ask yourself the questions, when I was at school, when I was at university, how was it that I learned? What were the approaches? What were the methods that were used? Did they help me? Were they successful? And then ask yourself how you do it in class. How do you encourage your students to reflect on their own learning? And in this aspect, the book Teaching Children How to Learn will really help you, because it's pretty much, you have a lot of different activities. They all come with a lesson plan, and they all come most importantly, with a reflective diary, or it's called My Activity Record. So what you're encouraging your students to do is to develop their own English portfolio where they are going to organize their own work. And you're going to help them and guide them reflecting through how they do the activities, how they get knowledge out of those activities, and how they remember it and put it into practice for future use. So those practical activities are for different levels, and you can use them as a parallel kind of, you're still using your course book and your notebook like you always will, but maybe parallel to this, maybe once a month, twice a month, you can use those different activities. And little by little, the students will get to, they will reflect on their own learning, even in the normal English classes when you use the course book. They will just kind of ask themselves, oh, how did I learn this? Why did I organize it that way? Would it be better? Would it be different if I was to do it in a different way? And if you start it with students who are maybe pupils who are 5 or 6, this you will do in Spanish, because they need to learn, they need to understand those strategies, and they need to do this in their mother tongue. But little by little, you won't even need to discuss it anymore, and you can just, they will do the work themselves, which is exactly what we want, is develop autonomous learning, independent learning. So the book also offers some self-assessment for teachers, self-reflection. So because we're trying to develop autonomous learning in our students, there's also a part for the teacher to self-reflect. So you are encouraged to look at your own practice. You're encouraged to notice what it is that you do, how you do it, how it works, and there is a lot of guidance for the teacher as well. Also, a lot of guidance for parents. So for the teachers to actually help parents understand what autonomous learning is and how important it is.